many things happen in this chapter that are extremely intriguing. There's a lot of foreshadowing, a lot of setup. Like, we already knew, we got information on the round table a little bit, it being a big deal. By far the part, though, that, like, reading this, like, seeing Tatiana all torn up, actually, like, seeing Izumo, like, all upset was like, damn, but, like, you look at her conviction, you look how hard she's trying, putting in the effort. I like that a lot. What made me really sad, though, was just Tatiana, you could see the betrayal in her face and how she was confused and wouldn't really know what to do, because the comparison between her and Billy actually, like, is very similar to Andy and Izumo, and I didn't notice that in the previous chapters, but it obviously was made apparent when Izumo was talking in this one. I like that a lot. I thought that set up a very interesting kind of contrast between Andy and Billy, and so it makes me think that Billy is going to be a much bigger character than we thought, and then we ended up getting the reveal that he seems to be the boss of Under, which means he's going to probably be the primary antagonist, at least for a while. Who knows if it's going to be the whole series or what. I kind of think it will, at least until they get to God, because his power looks broken. Like, broken. The abilities in Undead Unluck have all been really strong. Like, well, not all of them. Like, that one dude who can just kind of seemingly, like, always have bullets or whatever his ability was, maybe always have ammunition. He probably is, way lower on the totem pole. Then you look at, like, Andy or Izumo or Tatiana, relatively almost anybody else. Their abilities are really, really overpowered. And it's not like magic or anything. It seems to just be this almost like tier of reality manipulation. Like, there's just some rule of the universe that they can, go against. And Billy seems extremely broken, like unbelievable. I'm guessing that given the style of his of the twist of him having this different almost personality, and then pretty much switching sides. He had his own faction, but really you can look at it essentially as defecting rather. But you can kind of compare it to something like what happened with Aizen, and I think not just as the sense of, oh yeah, he left and he defected, formed his own team to do his own things. I think that what was said in this chapter also about his ability also makes it more comparable to it than just like, oh yeah, he was actually a bad guy and then abandoned them. Because his ability, like when Top in the last chapter went and kicked him in the neck, and he went and kicked him right in the face, broke his neck, and then he was fine after that. And Tatiana was trying to say, oh, it was that's not actually him, because that's not his ability. His ability is unbelievable, which like when he shoots bullets, he can like make it so they'll always bounce and then hit. It's like this always. It's pretty much an always hit ability. I was trying to like figure out a better way to say it, but it's like this almost degree of almost like a probability kind of like manipulator. So the rounds will always just, you dodge it, it's gonna just keep bouncing and keep bouncing and keep bouncing, and it's gonna come at you, or unless somebody else jumps in the way, or I guess also if the bullet was destroyed. But I'm guessing, but with the name of the ability, and then the fact he can heal, because also in this chapter he breaks his leg at one point, and it just heals instantly. I'm guessing unbelievable is going to end up being more like some degree of just like when she explains it, it's like a level of like miracle ability. Like if he's able just to do things like undo events or something. Like what if it's like, oh, it's not that his bullets are, he's just always hitting with bullets. It's like it just doesn't miss because, like I said, something like a probability manipulator or something like that. I think the name in general, it's going to be way more broken. Like, if unbelievable, it's got to have, like, an absurd actual ability. Because that was the thing with Aizen also. Aizen lied about what his Shikai did, and then it actually had a much better ability, and that's one of the ways that he was able to go about his plan, is because he convinced all the, all these people of what his Zanpakuto actually did. And that made him way less of a, because obviously, like, if people knew his ability beforehand was like this ultimate hypnosis, then there'd be a lot more suspicions. But also, they'd know he's a lot stronger than he led on to be, similar to seemingly with Billy. Because when you have all these characters, and some of their powers, like if you had Andy and then Billy with the power that they thought Billy had, it's like, what would he do? Because you just say, oh cool, you're always going to hit him with a bullet, but that's not going to do anything. But with this other weird power, like this higher end ability, that fits more of like a boss character rather than just what Billy would have been beforehand, you know, just a really cool kind of side character, but now he's set up not only as this bigger boss, but also powers that fit him with it. So, I'm very much interested in this plot twist. The fact that it happened so early, it really just opens up. Still, I mean, 32 chapters is still really early, but this happened last chapter, so, you know, in the first, right after chapter 30, like, the series is barely over 6 months old, and he opened with, like, an arc with a betrayal. Definitely really interesting like this. But after that point, like, we have the Rip and that girl he was with show up, and they're the ones that reveal that Billy is the boss of their group, even, you know, when they refer to him as that. But while they're all just trying to deal with him, you know, no matter what, like, no damage is really sticking to Billy. Like I said, he breaks his leg at one point and then just fixes back up. And even after characters like Jump On, he got like Andy, Shen, and Juiz, they're seemingly like just can't even really get to him, because like Andy tries to go to shoot him, doesn't seem to work. You have Juiz, like her sword starts to go towards her own neck, and then Shen's his Nuevo just doesn't grow. So whatever his power is, it has to have some over super like powered ability, like to undo other people's powers maybe or something. But I don't really know, because it has to be something like simple to understand, like when we get like an explanation, like, oh, that's how he's doing that. Because she, like, even Juiz says, like, how is he able to use his ability? Steven says, like, is this, oh, actually, I think I know what it is now that I think about it. Because one thing I didn't piece together is exactly what, you know, all the people in the room, now that I think about it. Because at one point, like with Andy in the room, he heals. Andy's an undead, he can heal up. When it comes to Top, he was able to hit him because he was able to match his speed, and then heal back up. And with Shen, like, as when Andy, he looks at Andy, and Andy wasn't able to move, I'm guessing that was Shen's power. I'm wondering about with Shen, because Shen's Nuevo wasn't really growing. But then with Juiz, it's like turning Injustice on her, it starts cutting her neck. So does his power also like give him other people's abilities temporarily? Because that'd be really cool. It's like he can have the powers of anybody he's in the room with or within a vicinity. But then then what would make it unbelievable? I don't know. I'm glad I actually was able to kind of figure that out a little bit, because now it makes a little bit more sense. Because that's what I was gonna say, is like something that if we get the explanation, you look back at events like, okay, yeah, all this kind of fits together. But I feel like it's a little more than that, given just like the fact he would also have the, you know, the ricocheting bullets, the fact that he was able to kind of like mess with Shen's Nuevo, I'm a little bit curious about. But after that, he's like trying to get Tatiana to go with them, and he's saying that he needs her for his plan, he needs her ability, and which also makes me think like maybe he does in fact, like, he's going to try and take her ability as well. And at that point, because I think that if Izumo didn't step in, that Tatiana might have went. Because Tatiana, like, these are her friends, but Billy is clearly the one she likes the most. He's clearly got like a like sense of affection towards him. Probably sees him as like an older brother or something. Because even seen in the first part, he's got the spurs on his boots, and she's like saying, you know, why do you have that? He's like explaining that he's using the sound they make to see, because apparently he's blind. And she's bringing up that he doesn't need to do that whenever she's around, because she'll be the eyes for him. And I'm wondering, like, really what that's gonna do towards, like, if his blindness has something to maybe to do with his abilities. I don't know. I don't really know how it would play into it, rather. But like, I wonder if he could heal with Andy's abilities. I guess not, because it's like if he stole Andy's abilities, it would be like whatever state he took it in. So probably not. He's probably just a blind guy. But Izumo's like just going off about how she can understand, like, you know, the same kind of affection and like relationship that that Tatiana has towards Billy, because it's similar to what she has with Andy, of, you know, somebody showing up that really kind of gave him like a reason to live and move forward. But she doesn't understand the betrayal that Tatiana would go through. which again is really sad. I poor, like, not only is she getting betrayed like this, but she's also a little kid, so it's got to be way more impactful on her. You need to see that panel later that she's like just all tearing up. It's just, it's very unfortunate. I'm really hoping that after this opening, and when Billy, you know, is gone, and they kind of like look at the situation and everything, that she's able to just you know, chin up and then try and figure out like what she needs to do to move forward, because you can tell this is very much like hurting her. And then Juiz is bringing up that if they don't get the round table, like if he takes the round table, that's going to be really bad because they need that to oppose God, which I'm very curious exactly what that means. Also, just as another thing, when Billy's like talking, and he says like, you know, talking to Burns, I was like, Burns, like, oh yeah, the Uma burn. So now he's got control of it, and he's trying to pretty much just melt through the ceiling and then exit and go north, and, you know, just go straight up and get out of there. So they're gonna have to take him down and get the table back, and then we'll probably find out exactly like what's so special about it. And so now Isamo and Andy are going to have to fight him and beat him. I'm wondering if Victor is gonna show up again in this chapter, like if he's gonna take the card out and bring out Victor, or if he's gonna be able to defeat Billy, or maybe not defeat him, because if he's supposed to be the big boss of this group, I don't think he's gonna defeat him. They might be able to just to kind of get the table back and really like set up of like, yeah, you guys need to push back, and maybe they'll try and go for it again. There's definitely some there's definitely gotta be some somewhat of resolution in these next couple chapters. They don't have to beat them, but they have to get the table back, or maybe it'll set up an arc of getting the table back, because we know that they are going to have to defeat these 4 Umas out there, the seasonal ones. So where this goes before then is going to be a bit of a mystery. I'm hoping to get the table back, we find out information on it, and then we go see the characters split up and go fight these 4 Umas, because I mean, their designs are really cool, and I want to see like what the villain group is kind of going to play into things. Like, are they going to show up to try and stop them? Are they going to try and defeat them? What's it really going to do? Because they want to rule the world before the world ends, so they should probably like do their best at thwarting the end of the world as much as possible until that point, so they can sit at the top. But we'll see. Other than that, though, comment below, thumbs up the video, press the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. I completely lost my train of thought because I looked over at my screen and I saw the sad Tatiana, and then I got sad again. Anyway, yeah, comment below, thumbs the video. Thanks everyone who's already subscribed, and thank you all for listening. Bye.